Welcome back, everyone, to the Other Half podcast.
The podcast where we delve into our culture in particular, as well as other people of mixed race descent.
Yeah, and I like how you said delve. It's a good word.
that was on the spot. I don't know where that came from.
Today we are looking at our, I guess it's genetic makeup.
Ancestry.
Ancestry, right?
Yeah.
So Sai did a 23andMe, and we're just gonna look at his results. I think it was from a while ago. When did you do it?
3 years ago, but it doesn't really change because what it is a lot of people think it's like you're seeing your genetic ancestry, which doesn't exist because all humans are the same species. So
right,
the DNA of me or another person of a different race is the same thing. So what it does is it measures DNA segments on population. So like if there's a bunch of people in the Philippines, we know they're Filipino or whatever, and then you test your genetic variations to theirs.
right.
And so the genetic variations are just things that come up in a population of people rather than that those people are definitely that. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, because we're all the same species.
Yeah. So our DNA doesn't differentiate black, white, Asian, Latino.
Right. We're Homo sapiens.
Yeah. So it just pulls up their database and matches your DNA against their database based on the population. So I think it updates. The more people who get their test done, the more accurate it gets in terms of like determining who you are and where you come from.
And it's not like genetic. Is it genetic variations? Is that what it is?
I guess it'd be. Hold on, they have a scientific details thing that actually tells you. Okay. Oh, how do we calculate it? We use an algorithm that individually looks at short pieces of DNA across your genome, and then we compare each piece to DNA from reference populations from around the world. So when a piece of DNA resembles the DNA from a specific reference population with a high degree of confidence, it is assigned to that population. So yeah, it's just genetic variation based on where you adapted on the planet, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And we have the exact same parents, so I don't have to get this test done.
Yeah, exactly.
It should be the exact same. And
the only thing that would change on your genetic makeup would be like the health markers and stuff.
Right.
But Ancestry is the same. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we always hear those things like what is it? We are closer, like chimpanzees are closer in DNA to us than they are to gorillas.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Or like 75% of a banana has the same DNA as a human.
Yeah.
It's because we all came from like the same stardust.
Yeah, exactly. Everything
same thing all came together to create life. And whether you think that's God or not, I mean, I guess you could say it's God.
Yeah.
It's still scientifically a fact that everything came from the same thing.
Yeah.
And I just saw an article about they think they found where the source of life came from in terms of like carbon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they just discovered where all carbon came from.
Like geographically or?
No, like in the universe.
Oh.
So they found the source of life because you need carbon for everything to live.
Yeah.
Planet. I forget where. I got to find that article. It's awesome. But it's interesting.
Cool.
Anyways, let's jump into your 23andMe, kind of look at what we're made out of, and kind of explore that site. So we grew up with before you did this, we grew up with the understanding that we were half Filipino, and half German heritage.
That's right. Yeah.
And so this gives us a different look, right?
Yeah, it kind of gives us the more broader look at things, which is cool.
I always argue that 0.8% is what made us white. So
it's just it was split down the middle, and that 0.8% really pushed us over the edge.
it's not 50-50. It's
That's so funny.
well, because it says East Asian and Native American. So
Yeah,
that's all lumped together, right?
yeah. Well, and then they have Central and South Asian, and
Right.
then trace, and then unassigned. Yeah, yeah. So 50% European, and a lot of people don't realize that, like French and German, they're culturally different, but they kind of descended from the same population of people. So it
Right.
groups French and German together, and that makes up 35.5% of our heritage. And it's even cool, they have a breakdown of location as well. So Saarland being, which is interesting because that is from our record, I guess. That's where our ancestors do come from.
Okay.
Saarland, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. If you look at our family tree or whatever.
Oh, that's cool.
What else? Yeah, what else we got here? British and Irish, not that much. Northwestern European, yeah, a little bit. The Italian was interesting, or Southern European.
And I mean, it's not like this isn't. It seems fairly accurate based on like the point whatever percent. But I
Yeah,
know it's just like it scans the internet and uses algorithms to cross reference, et cetera, et cetera. But I know
yeah.
technology is so advanced now, so it makes sense that I mean we can take it with a grain of salt, but it's quite interesting.
But even like this percentage here, because the Philippines was, colonized by the Spanish for 300, 400 years, that this kind of makes sense that this could be in there as well, that Southern European. Kind
Yeah,
of get some of that Spanish influence. And so it would, yeah. So that's interesting, and that makes sense. What else we got?
I find the Ashkenazi Jewish interesting because, like, I mean, it's on our mother's side, so it's official, but
Yeah.
I don't think we'd consider ourselves Jewish.
well, 0.4%. I don't know. I don't know how much that merits us saying we're Jewish, but
Is there any like downsides to getting your 23andMe done that you've heard of?
well, just like I guess the privacy
Right.
information. If is that what you mean?
Yeah, because I mean, it seems like a very beneficial thing, an interesting thing to do.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that people will come up with that argument of like, oh, what about your privacy? You're giving away your DNA. And it's like, well, I mean, if you accept all the EULA agreements on technology, you pretty much give away your privacy anyway. So using that argument to not get it is kind of silly, I think.
Right.
But
Unless
I
it's like
also,
TikTok.
yeah, it's true.
It's a little
Uh,
different.
yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But I think it's also like a health thing where it's like if you get your DNA sequenced or whatever, that like health insurance companies can use that against you to not insure you because you have predisposed issues that you may not be aware of. So
Oh,
there's another point against getting it done, but
that's interesting.
it's fine, yeah, whatever, you know. What's another thing?
So it
Yeah,
says we're 48.6%
Asian, yeah,
Asian.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think I swear that whatever one that 1.4% that's not Asian makes us white. Because I mean,
It's this way.
you'll
Uh,
see like as we start interviewing a lot of people and you see all the mixes, or even just like the celebrity mixes that we talked about, like it is quite evident when someone is mixed.
yes,
Like
yeah,
you can see the blending of um, races,
hmm
right? Whereas like us, I mean, people that know us say, "Oh yeah, we know you're mixed." Yeah, it's because you know us.
yeah.
But other than that, like, I don't
Although
want.
if you do look at younger pictures of us, like I didn't grow into my nose until I was like 14, so I still had an Asian nose when I was a
Mm,
kid, and I had big wide ears. So I had the little Asian nose, big wide ears, indicative of Filipino heritage. uh, until a certain age, and then the white supremacy nose came in and just pushed out the Asian. So I don't know.
And that could just be the adaptation of where we are as well. Like we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Our environment,
Mhm.
which seems kind of crazy, but I mean,
yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So this is the Filipinos. This is the biggest percentage of a particular region, like even bigger than European, because the European one's kind of spread out. It's 35.5% French German, but this is 45% Filipino and Austronesian. So
yeah, so we can pinpoint that better.
Yeah, exactly.
And it shows.
Yeah, it tracks, right? It shows the regions where your ancestry might come from.
Interesting.
Which is cool. And it's interesting to note that a lot of people think that Filipinos are like of Asian descent, but Filipinos are actually more closely related to like Polynesian ancestry than they are. They're not Asian.
We're geographically in
Asian.
the continent of Asia.
Yeah. So we're like broadly say, oh yeah, we're Asian, but ancestry-wise, we're actually more Polynesian.
Yeah.
Or Austronesian, I guess, is what they would call it. But yeah.
Austronesian?
Yeah, Austronesian.
I mean, like we're islanders, right?
Yes.
And that makes sense. Yeah,
this is cool.
Take a look at that map.
Yeah, it kind of shows the spread of Austronesians, I guess.
But I mean that's a term that we put on the continent. It's a massive continent with, I think, 48 countries. I believe it's 48.
Yeah.
But anyways, like Russia's a part of Asia. Like you always get that, right? Like, well, if you're talking Asians, you're also talking about Russians and they're white.
Yeah.
Or like India is part of Asia.
Yeah, it's true.
The Middle East is part of Asia.
Yeah.
Right. So if you think of someone who's from Israel, then you're not going to call them Asian.
That's very true.
When's the last time someone from like I don't know, funny. Saudi Arabia, they're like, oh yeah, you met that Asian? No.
Yeah. Or a Jewish guy from Israel.
Yeah.
That's
or
funny.
From like Turkey, because Turkey is technically a part of both Asia and Europe.
Yeah, that's right.
Not talking. That guy's not Asian. Technically, he is.
Yeah,
or they are, right?
I guess Russians as well, right?
Russians, Kazakhstani, Georgians, like all of that.
Yeah.
Like the point is, like our ancestral background is not like we can use the term Asian to maybe that's some Asian privilege that we're talking about, right? We can use it broadly speaking that benefits us. You know, Filipino food is Asian food, or
we're
allowed to laugh at Asian jokes because we're Asian.
Because we're Asian. Yeah, that's always an interesting one. It's like, are we allowed to laugh at like Chinese jokes?
When Jimmy O Yang gets up there, who's an amazing comedian.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Or like Ronnie Chiang. Those guys are awesome. But it's all like fun racist humor.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're like, yeah, we're Asian. We can laugh.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, technically here we are Chinese, so we can laugh at Chinese things. You know, we get a pass on the Chinese humor. So it's pretty much, it tracks with what we were told and like about our heritage and ancestry, as well as like if you look at our family trees and stuff, it kind of tracks in terms of like the breakdown of what we are, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And another cool thing they have on this site is the more people that register on the site, you can actually see people who are related to you. Like we have 1,000, I think there's 1,050 matches of genetic ancestry or whatever. So there's like 1,000, yeah. So there's 1,000 people on here that are related to us.
We got to reach out to those people, get them on the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. No one like super closely related, kind of like we shared second great grandparents or whatever,
Right.
like super far away, but still it's cool that you can start to see the linkages of ancestry and how like really connected we are with like people from around the world. It's really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of this podcast is going to be exploring like identity, right? So whether it's the people we interview or our identity, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this kind of it puts things into perspective, whether it helps solidify it or it adds a different like element to it.
Hmm.
It's really interesting, like knowing we're Ashkenazi Jewish. And you can start
Yeah.
reflecting and like thinking about other things of how our lives fit in that.
Exactly.
Or French and German is the same ancestral background, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
Yeah. This is a cool timeline too. I don't know if you can see this one right now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it breaks down which generation you are. Which again, this tracks very well to what you know about it.
that's
So
literally what we've come to understand.
yeah,
Our dad was born in the 60s. Well, he's born in 1960.
yeah,
Um, and our mom was born 1961, but that's not going to show up because
we're like third generation German or Canadian. I mean, on that side,
yeah, because her
third or fourth.
grandparents or her parents were also from Canada.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think it would have been our great grandparents
I think it was a great
or great
actually
great.
that came from
Okay,
Germany. Yeah,
so that's our heritage, but we're half Canadian. Like we consider ourselves Canadian.
yes. If we talk about geographical, cultural um, perspective.
Well, it's funny that because when people like ask, I say I'm half Canadian, even though I'm 100% Canadian because I was born in Canada,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
It's
Just
true.
because, like, I guess we take it as where our parents were born.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
exactly.
but we have some friends that are like, both their parents were born in a different country, but they still say they're Canadian
Yeah, that's right. Because they were born here, right?
because they're born here.
Yeah.
Whereas I've tended to identify as only half Canadian.
Interesting. I think I have too, actually, come to think of it.
Like I
In terms of,
really
yeah.
embraced the Filipino side because I thought it was awesome and cool that we were white, but our dad's from the Philippines.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can technically get citizenship.
Yeah, that is another cool thing. We can actually consider ourselves like Filipino because we can
So,
get a citizenship of it.
so the way that I'll pull this up in editing, but the way that the world works in terms of citizenship, I don't know if many people know this, but it's split up into the old world and the new world. So the new
Mm.
world is like North America, and I think it's just like a line right down the middle. North America, South America is considered the new world, and everything else is considered the old world. And what that means is you are only a citizen of that country in terms of the old world
Mm-hmm.
if your parents are citizens of that country or from that country
Okay.
or there's lineage. So,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of the times where like there's Americans that are, I don't know, living in an Asian country or whatever, and they
Yeah.
have a child. That kid isn't Japanese. That kid is still American, even though they're born in, say, Tokyo or something,
Oh,
because it's
interesting.
the old world.
Yeah.
So even like the UK. So if your parents are living in the UK and they're from Canada,
Yeah.
they're both born in Canada and their parents were born in Canada, and you have your kid in the UK, you're not British. You're still
Hmm.
you can't get British citizenship.
Oh, I actually didn't know that. I thought you could.
You can't because you're born there. That doesn't mean anything because it's the old world.
So the opposite way then.
If you're born in the new world, if you're born in the US,
Yeah,
you're
you are American. And same with Canada, right?
Yep.
Born in Canada. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how citizenship works in the world. Right. So someone like we were talking about mixed celebrities, like Keanu Reeves was born in Lebanon. He was born in Beirut, but he's
Yeah.
not Lebanese. His
Yeah,
citizenship is. No, he's not, because
yeah,
it's about heritage.
yeah.
But because our dad was born in the Philippines, we can get Filipino citizenship.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, that's a little history lesson.
Yeah. Even though there's not much benefit to getting Filipino citizenship, eh?
Quicker
benefit
time, like
to buy it.
you get a passport, so you can go through customs easier.
Oh yeah, I guess.
You're a
And
citizen.
can you buy houses easier there
You
then?
can buy land and you can buy houses, like property,
Yeah.
because you're a citizen.
Oh, that's cool.
Like easier. I'm sure you can have foreign investment.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
can own land a lot easier if you're a citizen.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Cool.
I don't know. I'd recommend that everyone gets to 23andMe. It looks pretty cool. It's not like a sponsor of our brand new podcast or anything, but
No.
that'd be cool though.
Maybe in the future.
Down the road, we should start like making a list of sponsors that make sense to our viewers and our podcast.
But yeah, it's a neat service if you're interested in history at all, or even interested in identity. Like you can start to kind of delve into things a little bit deeper. Just kind of, if you're interested in those things. I don't know. I really am. I like having a bigger picture of stuff, so I can have a better perspective of things.
Yeah, it helps with perspective. It helps with. I guess it can help determine decisions as you make your way through your day to day.
Yeah, for sure.
In future episodes, we're going to talk about the history of both the Philippines and our other heritage, Germany, I guess. Those people, the French and Germans.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all we got. That's all we got for today anyways. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, leave them in the comment section or DM us or whatever. We'd love to get feedback, and then we can also, see how we can improve as we go forward. It's always appreciated.
Yeah, and if you want to come on the podcast, like we posted the first one and instantly got someone that wanted to be interviewed. So I think it'll grow fast, the community, and we'll start reaching out to more and more people.
Yeah.
And just come on and share your experience, share what it means to be mixed, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Also, like, subscribe, sign up for notifications, so every single time we release a podcast, and then you can keep up to date with what we're talking about. And yeah, join us on our journey through this. Sweet.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for watching. See you next time.
Peace.